and brought them back. And him and my uncle and my dad would just sit by the campfire and just eat those things whole.
A bucket?
A bucket full. 5-gallon bucket, the white plastic buckets.
Full of habaneros.
Yes.
There's something wrong with that end of your family, man.
You have no idea. I swear, 2 things they don't have. 1, they don't have taste buds. 2, they don't have an anal reflex.
Reflex. That's very specific.
Spicy going in, spicy coming out. That's a good place to start it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is DrNiggle. I'm joined tonight by Masami with OmegaConstruct Zero Burn. And we are watching Zero play Destiny. What are you playing in Destiny 0?
I am doing the new game mode. It is called Shattered Realms. I have to rescue Techions, or Tech Witches, as they're commonly referred to.
Princess Peach, got it.
Yep, essentially. If I'd if I would have known any better, I would have said that Steve from DE had something to do with this. Because it is a very derivative game mode.
Because he played Mario once.
Because he played Mario once.
But Steve was not on the most recent dev stream, which I was impressed and surprised.
That's true, and we will talk about that. But yeah.
Excellent.
Game mode. You have to save the princess by fighting off what, necro zombies?
So these are the Taken. The Taken are the three different races of bad guys: the Vex, the Cabal, and the Fallen, that have been essentially had their souls taken from them by a hive god. So
Okie dokie.
They no longer have will of their own. All they know to do is fight. So
right.
Yes, necro zombies.
Well, wait, they don't have souls, but do they try to eat you too?
No, they do not try to eat you. They just want you dead.
Okay, so they're like werewolf zombies. Or, sorry, werewolf vampires. They're a cross between werewolves and vampires in that they have no souls. And you fell.
I missed that jump terribly.
Is this like Dark Souls where your loot's on the bottom of the floor now?
No. Luckily, when you pick up your loot, that's it. You pick up your loot, so...
Good. Good, okay, anyway. So, a new event out. Was this what Leetness was talking about in chat the other day, where he tried it and he could not?
Actually, he was doing the beginning mission to unlock this mode. And
Gotcha.
I can understand why he was dying so much, because I mean, I was leveled out. I was at soft cap and I still died.
Slightly difficult.
And this is supposed to be a three-person thing, and I'm doing it solo, so...
Oh, by the way, we should, yeah, Masami already brought up the dev stream. Did you say Warframe, Masami?
Yep, and I think we were like 3.5 minutes in.
Well, we're 3.5 now.
I'm pretty sure Zero said Warframe first.
Okay, the important thing is that it's less than 5 minutes in and we've said Warframe. Warframe. Okay.
Yes, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, we might as well. Did we catch... How many of us actually watched the dev stream yesterday, or watched it after it was done, or read the highlights?
Wasn't the dev stream like 4 days ago?
Time is irrelevant. A meaningless construct. It might as well be Tuesday. Yeah, so, there was I can't remember the last dev stream, if they've been actually on schedule or not, because I stopped watching home streams. But...
Well, they've gone to once a month dev streams instead of every 2 weeks, because then they actually have a decent chance at actually getting the usual heads of various divisions together in one spot. Steve this month was represented by, I think, a pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah. Steve was not on the dev stream, which, wasn't all that bad.
I mean, the other
Sorry,
guy still
Steve.
heckled Reb a little bit, but not nearly as bad as Steve does.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I really did miss. Cause I think it's important to heckle Reb. And they also talked, or the thing that they were talking about was that I found interesting was they're bringing Plague Star back in September.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So that event will
September
be up.
9th.
Yep, and the event will
something.
be back with
Yep.
all of its glorious forma for purchase.
Including the new buzzsaw.
And there's
its
a new
parts.
weapon out. Yeah, the Ghoul Saw,
Yeah, that's what it was.
which I think is
Ghoul saw, you
ridiculous.
say?
Yeah, it's a giant. It's a handheld miter saw.
Nice. That is
And
awesome.
new is a bit of a misnomer. This is a weapon that they've been teasing and has been requested by fans for
Ages.
years. Literally years. They've shown animations on dev streams in years past. They've been teasing this for a while. So the community's, I imagine, going to be pretty excited when it comes out.
It is
Those are the
actually.
community from back then who are still around.
It is actually already. It has been implemented in the game for quite some time, because there is a ghoul on the plains of Eidolon that uses that weapon.
Well, yeah, that's where it's from, right? It's the Ghoul Saw, and then people have been asking for it. And when I heard about it being discussed after the dev stream, I was looking around about it, and like people have been making fan art and animations of Warframes riding the Ghoul Saws for years.
I just think it's my the first thing that I thought when I saw that they were releasing the Ghoul Saws was, okay, when zombie mode when. Just because it seems like that goes along very well with it. But then again, I played a lot of well, I didn't play a lot. I watched a lot of Omega and one of our other college friends playing, what was it, Dawn of the Dead? Video game where they're in the mall.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what it reminds me of. But plays are coming out, and the other ridiculous thing that I think we all made comments on was Valkyr Deluxe.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
I'm gonna go ahead and find a picture of that, actually.
Huh?
Forget the.
I think I saw that on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh God, that's horrendous."
I forget the person's name who did that one. Liger, I think. All their designs are kind of dumb like that.
Yeah, so I threw it up on screen. Everybody can see the thickness.
Ooh, oh no, that's the sickness. I'm sorry.
It's the same thing.
This
This is the whole deal. The arms and everything do look. She looks like Hildren, honestly, in this picture. It just
That's
looks like
basically what everybody
Hildren.
says. Everybody's like, "Why did you give Hildren Deluxe to Valkyr?"
Yeah. But the big arms and shoulders are supposedly a jacket with built-in gloves, I guess, because those are definitely not her hands. I don't know. I just think this is kind of silly. This is this is a miss. DE hits a lot with the deluxe skins, but this is definitely a miss.
It's going to be impossible to fashion frame too.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, back on to. We actually had some articles popped up this past week. We're back into gaming news. There's gaming news to report on again. Or at least technology news that's relevant to our gaming. Starting off with Google killing Discord's best music bot, Groovy. If anybody uses Groovy on their Discord servers, I do not. And I don't think Masami does, and Omega does not.
I do not.
Nope.
But, yeah. Masami, did you post this one, or did you, Omega?
Yeah, that was me.
Do you want to talk about it at all?
Basically, well, Omega did sum up the article mostly with his commentary on it, which was great. But basically, most Discord bots are not written by Discord. They're written by third-party people who have a certain purpose in mind, and they're technologically savvy enough to put them together. This guy in particular was basically satisfying a demand to basically be able to easily pump YouTube video or audio in this case into your Discord server. So like when you're in a Discord chat channel with a bunch of friends, you can be chilling to some tunes while you're blowing fools up or whatever.
Yep.
Or even ambiance for like like a D&D game or whatever have you. But it was piping it in without the ads, which did not make Mr. Google happy. So Mr. Google had to take the fun toys away.
Yeah. I
Basically
think
sent him a cease and desist, I believe.
I remember Omega's summary as well, but that seems a likely conclusion to me as well. It seems a likely conclusion that this was just a matter of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the creator, Nick Amarlan, who made Groovy, said he made it because, quote, my friend's bot sucked and I thought I could make a better one. And he admitted this was likely a long time coming because Groovy circumvents YouTube's front-end advertising entirely. And certain other bots that are used in certain other Discords that we're all familiar with do the same goddamn thing, but are hopefully tiny enough that Google will never notice.
Well, here's the other thing, though, and it's that I believe Groovy works off of its own servers, whereas your bot does something different where it utilizes your computer to play the music. Yes?
I'm not entirely sure the mechanics of Groovy. The article says that it was ridiculously popular, reportedly installed on over 16 million servers. That's Discord servers, but they could just be using the vernacular and not a technical term.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I installed Avray on my server and shit, but that's running on Avray Central servers. That's not anything that I'm doing.
Yep.
Like, those are bots that are sharded on Discord.
So, yeah, assuming that there was a central Groovy server and that central Groovy server was doing all the polls from YouTube's front end, yes. It's definitely, that's not great. The music servers, or the music bot, or the cogs in the bots that are related to playing music on the bots that we know are running locally. I have a local bot server in my house, for example. So, as far as YouTube is concerned, I'm just pulling videos to watch personally, and then my bot is pumping them through my channel.
Yeah, your bot is merely providing a way for you to access YouTube music. It's more akin to, like you said, you watching or listening to the video versus the bot playing it and sending you the audio.
So that's unfortunate for anybody who uses Groovy. I have to wonder also, this is not the only music bot that I'm familiar with. I think we all know another music bot called Rhythm.
Yep.
And there's another one that's used on, I can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, I have to wonder how those work as well. If those are definitely centrally hosted somewhere else, and then you invite the bot to your channel. I wonder. I do wonder.
Yeah, it's just it looks like Rhythm is also because you invite the bot to your server.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what makes it a little it's done through them, I think.
This article also makes a good point. Discord started off as something... we're using it right now. It started off as a free communications platform that replaced Vent, it replaced TeamSpeak, and there are variants of it that were nowhere near as popular as Discord has become, but from that tiny little free gaming communications platform, Discord has grown into a $10 billion industry, and there were talks of Microsoft acquiring it this year. So it's... with bigger companies come bigger problems, and I expect to see more news like this as time rolls on. Just because, yeah, if there, who knows how many people are actually using Discord. But tens of millions of servers across 6 continents. Yeah, they're gonna attract the attention of people who want a cut of that. They want some of that juicy shack meat.
And they don't want people cutting into their juicy shack meat.
That's right. That's our shack meat. So yeah. And the other thing was it Streamlabs? Oh yeah, Streamlabs on Twitter announced, we're introducing a new way for viewers to subscribe to their favorite creators with 0 fees, set up recurring tips for creators, and receive redeemable alerts that you can trigger whatever you want. I think it was Omega who posted their cutting out Patreon.
That's what both of these first 2 stories that we're talking about are.
Yep.
YouTube wouldn't have sent this cease and desist until they're ready to unroll their YouTube music bot, chock full of ads between songs, I'm sure. And then now we've got Streamlabs saying, like, hey, we offer a great suite of services to streamers, and they also go to these other places, but if we can offer those, we can be more one-stop shopping and make more money. So, yeah, now they're just rolling Patreon into their suite of services.
Good times.
And not to mention, sticking it to Twitch as September comes up around here.
See, that's what I find really interesting about all the tipping, though, whether it be Patreon or anywhere else, is that, like, these streamers' bread and butter is their Twitch subs. Because, like, your Twitch subs are what you sign contracts on, it's what you get offers on, it's what you get endorsements on, stuff like that. You can't look at your Patreons and be like, oh, but I've got this many people on Patreon. No, they look at Twitch subs. They want to know how many people are watching your shit and want to see it and are willing to pay, in the moment to watch that. So I've always found it interesting how those 2 competing revenue streams exist out there, especially when Twitch gives you benefits in Twitch chat, which a lot of people want when, streamers are coming out with fancy emote packs and all these other interactive things available to subscribers through companies like Streamlabs and the apps that they provide. So it's always been interesting to me because they're, wanting you to subscribe on Twitch and, to their Patreon, and hey, send them some tips on Streamlabs while you're at
it. Twitch subs are also how your fucking stream gets recommended in the suggested viewing in the left-hand side. So yeah, your Twitch subs are linked to your success on Twitch and people knowing about your channel, so that ostensibly they can subscribe to your Patreon or your whatever Streamlabs monthly tip. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna call this. I gotta come up with a flashy name for it. But yeah, a new competitor enters the ring.
Yeah, I gotta say it's kind of interesting. It will be neat to see how it shakes out, if it starts getting popular or if Patreon will remain king.
We gotta get us Patreon. We gotta get us all of these. We should just create an experiment to see what makes the most money.
I'll tell you, Patreon did a good job outlasting OnlyFans' short-lived foray into not a porn site.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Did we talk about that last time?
3 days? I don't think so. But
yeah, OnlyFans is getting rid of sexually explicit content. You're still able to post nudes of yourself and charge money for them, but no more, deep throating a broom handle.
They backtracked. They totally took it back.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So that was last week, and now this week, any updates? Besides them saying, no, JK, LOL?
No, but I'm sure Patreon was sweating for a brief moment there until they realized that, oh no, it's not actually a threat. Because that's what they're trying to be. They're trying to be the next, they're trying to change into a Patreon competitor.
Yep.
But at this point, they're just irreparably connected to porn.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, actually, every single Pornhub, I forgot the name for a second. Every single Pornhub
How
account
the fuck?
that you can go to, I don't know, my balls hurt.
Clearly, that's the only explanation.
every Pornhub profile that you look at will typically have a link to an OnlyFans page where you can get exclusive content. Unless it's an official studio, in which case they're obviously going to link you to their webpage. But yeah, that's OnlyFans is a way of small adult performers to get directly paid, or as directly paid as you can be on OnlyFans. I think it's what 20% goes to OnlyFans.
I think that's it.
You know, if I can go on a very brief rant, I will say that I hate OnlyFans because it's ruined porn. Because, like, on the one hand, like, yeah, it's cool that all these random girls are now, like, getting into it and there's more content out there. But all it's turned into is just, like, the same fucking tits out selfies flooding the internet. And, like, all the porn subreddits. It's not actual porn anymore. It's just nude selfies. It's just all these girls with OnlyFans taking nude selfies, flooding the porn subreddits, and the actual porn, like the actual people fucking, is nowhere to be found anymore.
Yeah. Look, I mean, it can be difficult on Pornhub to find just plain old videos of people fucking anymore. Unless you're a major studio, in which case you just spam out videos as much as humanly possible. We want the good old days of, what, 2005? When everybody was posting, tits on 4chan, tits or get the fuck out used to be the saying. And there was some great ingenuity that went into that. We had Sharpie in the pooper. We had shoe on head. We had write the date on your tits and post it. It was great. Those were just the golden years. And now what do we have? Same goddamn pictures over and over and over again that you pay how much a month for? Between like $5 and $150 per month.
I mean, everybody can set their own rates on OnlyFans.
Disgusting. It's disgusting, that's what it is.
It's just the evolution of the simp.
Are we still doing incest porn? Is that still the most popular porn?
I believe the term is wincest.
I mean, yeah.
I've heard that step sibling
is...
porn is fairly common right now.
Yeah,
fairly hot.
That's incest porn. That's incest light. It's like,
Yeah,
we're step siblings. It's not technically
incest. Just actually say they're siblings.
Oh, you totally can.
What are you doing back there, step bro?
Just because Max Hardcore went to jail for like 10 years because he was distributing obscene content, according to the state of Florida, through the mails. Yeah, no, that's no reason for people to say, these two girls that look remarkably similar, but are actually not related at all, are totally real-life sisters. Come watch them bang. The golden age of pornography is... I don't know what's happened to it. I don't recognize it anymore. But yeah, reversing out a planned ban, OnlyFans will allow pornography on its site after all. This is an NPR article. So
basically, they committed to finding other payment processors who would not impose such restrictions on the site or some other bullshit like that.
Yeah, their official quote was, "We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1st policy change," which means exactly what you just said. They found advertisers and they found payment processors who don't have a problem with porn.
Yeah, whatever happened to like the notion of a company just having its niche and doing that and being successful? Like, they're making tons of money. They're providing a service to tons of women and men and their customers. Like, and they almost buried themselves because of this quest for endless expansion and growth when they're already like raking in money hand over fist.
Well, that's a two-part thing. The first part would be capitalism. The whole point of capitalism is to always turn a profit, and the bigger a profit that you turn, the more successful you're considered. So that's the philosophy, at least as I understand it. And the second component would be the internet has evolved. It's now a giant social structure, and there are more people talking about what they believe in, and not necessarily all those people need to be listened to, or should be listened to, or should be allowed to talk on the internet. But they are, because it's freedom. And yeah, there are a lot of good ideas, there are a lot of stupid ideas, and they're all being circulated, and we're evolving as a society, and societal issues are taking more precedent in how we live and how we affect the world around us, I guess. So pressure, that translates to people talk about the evils of porn. Advertisers assume that a small minority of people that are talking about the evils of porn are actually the majority, or they, multiply those numbers and say, wow, this is a much bigger problem than it in reality is, and the advertisers put pressure on the services that they do business with to have less pornography. So socialists, or the social structure of the internet tying in with the capitalism of our society. Please subscribe to my newsletter. I have many important opinions that really should be talked about. I'm not one of those idiots that I just talked about.
Not at all. Nope.
I'm not dumb.
Is it weird that I have like half a boner right now?
It would be weird if you didn't.
There we go.
And at this point, yeah.
Oh well. Good for you, OnlyFans. Anybody seen any interesting porn recently?
No, sadly.
Nope, just lots of boring selfies.
I checked on 4chan the other day. I was actually trying to go to the request board because I was trying to find a YouTube video of a court case, and I couldn't find it anywhere. But so I went to 4chan's request board. They changed the request board into an adult request board. So now you can't just request stuff, you request porn. And I was very disappointed in 4chan.
Well, there's a
What the
subreddit
fuck
for
you
that.
doing?
The regular subreddit is tip of my tongue, and then there's tip of my penis.
What?
Yeah, so
So there's a subreddit
that's
for
fine.
things that are like on the tip of your tongue, but you can't remember them. So you go there and you like describe the thing that you can't remember,
okay.
and people will answer for you. And then there's a subreddit about that, just specifically for porn. That's the tip of my penis.
Okay,
Right.
now I get it.
Yeah.
That's really useful, actually.
Yeah, it is. Dividing the two categories up makes sense because there's at least, people are perverts, myself included. We're always thinking about fucking. And so there's at least as much requests for, remind me of what porn this is, as there is remind me what this, Spice Girl was called. Sometimes the two are one and the same. But dividing them up makes sense to me.
If you ever
Remind
need to
me
know
of
the
what the
Spice Girls,
Spice
I
Girl
can
who
name them
did.
out.
Remind me what the Spice Girl was that did porn.
Baby Spice? Was it Baby Spice?
I'm pretty sure it was Ginger.
Um,
Oh wait, did one
And
of them
nobody
actually
was
do porn?
surprised.
Jerry
Which one?
Halliwell?
Yep, that's Ginger.
Jerry Halliwell's Spice Girl hot debut video on X Hamster. Yay, X Hamster, still going strong.
Wow.
It's always the redhead.
And Google, just to be funny, Google threw in a little bit of trivia here. Victoria Beckham reveals that the Spice Girls were almost named after a porn site. But then they went with Spice Girls.
Which porn site? The X Hamsters?
Please don't. Please don't make
The
me click.
XNSSs?
Please don't make me click on the link to 2fab.com.
You gotta do it. Take one for the
Take
team.
it for the team.
Christ. All right.
Were they going to be the red tubes?
Yes.
Oh God.
In the beginning, we were going to be the Spicy Girls, but then we realized there was a porn site called Spicy Girls. That's not as that's not as exciting as I was hoping for.
No, that
Spice
sounds
Girls
like
is
Internet 1.0 when like porn was like wet.com.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like every website that was remotely porn or like could remotely be thought of as double entendre was some porn site.
Is White.com still a porn site?
I don't know, but I remember it was when I was like 9.
Okay, does anyone? There is
I
no
remember
reason.
when.
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
remember in
Masami.
my 4th or 5th grade. No, it was 6th grade. We're taken down to the computer lab, and someone accidentally went to whitehouse.com instead of whitehouse.gov.
Yep, I remember when that was the prank you used to pull on all your friends. Dude, the president said something really cool. You should go to whitehouse.com and see what he said.
Oh no! Oh no!
Needless to say, that was a class announcement when that happened.
Please do not ever visit. And Masami's friends are the reason why their school had to have nanny bots on all of the computers.
Yeah, those were the glory days, back before schools knew how to do content filters.
The nanny
Yeah.
bots.
I don't even know if our school was capable of that at that time.
I
doubt
actually read something interesting recently, a little off topic, but we're going in that direction.
Yeah.
A lot of public libraries don't ban you from watching porn on the computers. You're not allowed to jerk off or nothing, obviously, but there are libraries that have come down on the side of freedom of speech and saying that they will not censor the internet or censor what people are allowed to view on the public internet in a public library. Thoughts?
I admire that.
Yep.
Yeah, I can admire that too.
I'm kind of torn, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
you got fucking kids running around and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Good point.
a library is ideally a place where children are going to learn, and it's a place where ideally kids without computers would have a place to go and access the internet and all this great technology without having creepy old homeless dude skeeving out looking at porn breathing deep.
Heavy breathing intensifies.
In that case, I put it on the library. It's not that difficult for, like, my local town library has a room that has computers in it, and they're in like those mini cubicles basically, where you can sit down and you have some privacy, but obviously you're not it's impossible to jack off without somebody noticing.
So
At
every
least I
library,
assume.
so turn it into like half library, half adult video store booths. So like public libraries will now also have to employ someone to wipe up the jizz after people finish their sessions.
The jizz mopper.
If you could somehow attach a library card fee onto that, yeah, I could see that as a lucrative business model. You know what?
Okay. So my question is, does the public library jizz mopper get state benefits? That's my question.
Of course, they're a civil servant. Absolutely, yes, they do.
Well, I guess it would depend on what jurisdiction the library was under. If it was a state library, maybe. If it was like a city library, yeah, they would have to fight for whatever union they're a part of there.
Could you imagine? Just think of it. When you go to retire, what did you retire? You retired from the city? Yes, I did. Well, what was your job? I don't want to talk about it.
Sanitation.
Sanitation. There you go.
Sanitation worker.
Let's PC this right up.
It's like if you work for the mob, you work in sanitation. Oh man. But no, I'm fine with that. I was briefly going to touch on a really old kids movie that no one here should have seen called Black Cougar. And Black Cougar is notoriously the world's first superhero who does what? Boom! Protects children. And there was a whole marketing campaign around it. The guy who created Black Cougar is actually hilarious. I saw him first on whatever version England has of Shark Tank, basically. People come on and pitch their business ideas. And he is just insane. But this was quite a while ago, and he did have a website for the longest time, blackcougar.com. and it was all about this children's superhero. It had, children's stuff on it, little games, photo galleries, stuff like that. I went there recently. He let the domain lapse, so it's not a kid's website anymore.
It's bound to happen.
That must have been an unpleasant surprise for somebody one day.
Somebody's parents, more likely. A welcome surprise for young Billy, a horrific surprise for young Billy's parents,
who found
and
out
many
8 months later.
questions to dinner that evening.
Oh, man. Yeah, good times. I'm going to go to blackcougar.com after this. Speaking of inappropriate. Oh, I guess we could just mention this. Ongoing as far as the California lawsuit against Blizzard Entertainment was a tweet from the Overwatch team a couple days ago about renaming McCree. They put out a whole statement about how they're sorry they named it after a person in real life. They named McCree in the game after a person in real life who has left the company amid allegations of sexual misconduct.
Yep. Jesse McCree, which is the name of the character, was named after the, I believe, lead designer of Diablo 4. And they are going to remove his name, rename the character, and then they're going to, I've read they're also going to be removing any other characters named after real people at the company among all Blizzard games. I heard that they're taking people out of WoW. I don't know those people by name, and I don't know those characters in WoW, obviously, because I don't play that fucking dumb game. But Zero, have you heard anything about that?
I feel attacked.
You should.
Well, considering, okay, guys, I think I deserve some type of like chip or coin or something, because it has officially been 1 month without WoW.
Yeah, instead you're playing Destiny.
Yeah. Hey,
look,
you know what? Baby steps.
The shaking has quit.
Good.
It's just because you're off the heroin and onto methadone.
Yeah, it's okay.
Ooh.
It's okay. Destiny is actually not a bad game. It's really not.
Heroin is not a bad drug. It's really not.
Okay, I can make the same
amazing.
argument about Warframe.
There's no.
Hey, we're not talking about my problems here. This is an intervention for Zero right now. We'll deal with my problems later.
Amazing.
I can see Zero laughing on Zero Cam. Oh god.
Anyway, but
let's go over to Zero Cam real quick. What's up, Zero? Zero got a high-end apartment. All right.
But
he's just hanging backwards over the ledge outside, off the roof.
Daring.
Yes,
I was admiring how well it coordinated in color with the cock colors.
Oh, you're right. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that shit. Well done,
I planned
Zero.
these things. Oh, well, if we're being 100% honest, I can't take the credit because, Discord put this background as one of the defaults, and I'm not paying for Nitro to put the cock logo in the background.
There you go.
So
the cock is in our hearts.
Yes, always in our hearts. We're like Vince McMahon. We really love big cock.
And we cannot lie.
But no, I have no idea, honestly. I know that Asmongold and Preach and Bellular Gaming, all three, have said, this is not what you need to do. This is like, okay, it's a step. It's a step in the right direction. Good for you. You're taking the names of people out of a video game. Great. But there is so much more shit that y'all need to get right. Like releasing WoW with the feedback that people have given you at launch instead of doing it half a year later. like what they're doing now, because Lord knows everybody has complained about it, and it's like they're implementing changes that they got feedback for during alpha testing for Shadowlands. It's
See,
and they
you
said
know the problem with your line of thinking here, Zero? You think that Blizzard cares about how players are
that's true.
enjoying playing
No,
the game,
you're
when
right.
what they care about is how investors perceive the company.
Yep.
And that's all this type of thing is about. It's PR.
Yeah.
So
You're totally
Yeah,
right. They should be fixing their fucking games, and they should be fixing their fucking toxic company culture. But, hey, if we remove these names, look, we did a good thing.
I rewatched.
And we cannot be subject to future liability either. So
Yeah, I rewatched Ready Player One recently because it's a guilty
Ooh.
pleasure of mine.
Yep.
Because I start
I will
drinking at the start of the movie, and then halfway through the movie, it just becomes awesome. So that's why I
Okay,
like Ready
I
Player
can see
One.
that.
Not because it's
I
good,
can see that.
but there's the company CEO in there said one of the most capitalistic things I think I've ever heard in my life, and it's frighteningly accurate.
Mhm.
He's talking about loading up the Oasis with ads and shit, and one of the board members is just like, that's gonna make our player base, or sorry, that's gonna make people angry. They're gonna stop playing. He's like, all the rest of this. He's like, well, that's not gonna make our stockholders happy. And he says it's not our job to make the stockholders happy. It's our job to make them money. And that's the most capitalist thing I think I've ever heard, and it's surprisingly accurate. So yeah, when Omega says that they're not interested in, or Blizzard's not interested in their player base, etc., yeah, they're not. They're interested in making their stockholders money so that they can keep on being a business and pay their employees. So there's a logic to that. There's a method to that madness.
Well, I mean, if we want to go further off gaming and get into a real political philosophy discussion, comrades, that's the nature of capitalism. Like, publicly traded companies are legally required to make money. It's called fiduciary responsibility. If the company doesn't make money if the company makes decisions that don't make money for their shareholders, that when they could be making money for their shareholders have legal recourse against that company.
Yep.
So the company does not have, they are not first and foremost indebted to their customers. They are first and foremost indebted to the shareholders. The customers are part of the product.
So what were we talking about? Oh, taking names out of shit. Taking names out of WoW. I was going to ask as a follow-up, if Zero doesn't know which names are being taken out of WoW, I would like to know which names are being taken out of Diablo, specifically J. Wilson, because there's an achievement called J. Wilson Smash, and I don't want to lose. Actually, I think it's a feat of strength. I don't want to lose that sigil on my banner. I don't want to know what they're going to rename it to. Thug Smash. I mean, literally, it just is a giant abomination that's got a special name attached to it.
So,
but there is actually, that brings up another thing. In Diablo 3, if you go to the crypts in Act 1, there is a chance in a random spawn of the game that you will get a special crypt called Development Hell. And in Development Hell, all of the bosses, all of the monsters that you find in there are named after the Diablo 3 development team. All of their names are in that. Is Development Hell just going away? Because that would suck. That was really fun. Like the 2 times that I found that in the 8 years I've been playing that game. 9 years now. Jesus.
So, okay. Looking at a blue post from the other day. It looks like they are removing they're changing the name of an entire city instead of ruins in Argus called Macri or Macari.
Wow.
They are the names of characters that are being changed are Jasira McCree, Jessup McCree, Marshall McCree, Jenny McCree, and Jasera of Macari. All named for Jesse McCree, while Crafticus Mindbender, Torturer LeCraft, and Jonathan LeCarf might be removed due to Jonathan LeCraft and at least Senior Scrivener Barriga for Luis Barriga, Barriga. Those are being removed from WoW that we know of, based off of a blue post.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing the same in a Kotaku article saying that all references to McCree, Barriga, and the Craft in WoW are going to be removed. I don't know. Makes sense. You know, why tie it to somebody's name if you keep finding out that people do shitty things and then it taints the name? Just get rid of them. Stop doing it. Bad practice.
I'm not finding very much on names being removed from Diablo 3.
Nothing is mentioned in these articles. Maybe they didn't put any names into it.
They did.
Well,
I
there
just
was
said
that guy, Jay Wilson Smash.
yeah, and also Development Hell. Development Hell, every single monster in that dungeon is named after someone on the Diablo 3 development team. Real names.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, there are a shit ton of people in there.
And that's where you find Jay Wilson. That's where you get that feat of strength. But I get it's a little. It is entirely revisionist. It's a little. I don't know. If you really want to consider these video games works of art, you know, do you really want to go back and revise a work of art? There's that attitude to be put out there. But on the other hand, you know, some of these people have been accused of fairly horrific shit. So there's an equally strong argument, in my opinion, to be made there.
Well, also, if you want to make that argument, then games shouldn't ever be patched or updated or added to.
In terms of, yeah, if it's a work of art, if you're changing it and modifying it, yeah.
Games are living, breathing works of art. I'll give them that, but you know,
I would attune it less to a painting and more to a performance art. Performance art is meant to change and adapt, as long as the essence of it stays the same.
It's certainly an interesting intersection of different arts and activities woven into one. But hopefully we can stop putting the names of rapists into our games.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I approach their name thing purely from a cynical point of liability. They just don't want it to fucking happen again.
This seems like a good time to bring up other, as long as we're talking about artwork, intersecting with gaming. Indie developers who create small games occasionally suffer from larger policies. And just one of the policies would be Steam's 2-hour refund policy, and it forced a particular indie developer into indefinite absence because they created a game called Summer of '58, which you can play and finish over the course of about 90 minutes. So people were assholes, were buying this game, playing it to its conclusion, and then refunding it.
And this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, you fuckwads are why we can't have nice things. This indie developer created something that was, you know, it's not fantastic or anything. It actually might have won some awards. It's not winning any awards in my book, but, you know, it's good. It's not bad. It's a good game. And, yeah, the developer just got pushed out because they received a massive number of refund requests, and it's all because of Steam's blanket 2-hour refund policy.
Meanwhile, there's been big-ass AAA games that I couldn't refund after spending an hour adjusting the controls, wasting an hour of my refund time, playtime, because I'm left-handed.
And there are games like Uno that require an Ubisoft account that I still have to try. I'm in a refund battle right now because I have less than 90 minutes on that game. I think I got like between 45 and 50 minutes into it, and I want my fucking money back because I can't play a multiplayer game and Ubisoft knows about that problem, and multiple people have complained on their forums about that problem, and it's been going on for years. But no, they have my money and they don't want to give it back.
Yay.
So games that don't work, games that suck, these things are good for a refund policy. Games that work perfectly fine, that you can finish quickly, you shouldn't. Like, there should be an achievement for finishing a game or something like that, or some hidden achievement towards the end of it, and once you get that achievement, you can't refund the game. It's probably a terrible idea. I can already imagine that being exploited, but that was the first thing that came to mind. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe they just need to introduce a new type of game, but like, yeah, or like a new a category of games that you can't refund, and because they are specifically designated as short play time, and maybe Steam does something like implement a max price that you could charge for. Like, if your game is expected to take less than 2 hours of playtime to complete, you're not allowed to charge more than $10 for the game. I don't know, but it is a fucking shame. It'd be shitty if Steam were telling people how much they could charge for games. But it's shitty that developers like this are getting ripped off by a well-intended consumer protection policy at Steam, and that shitty gamers are taking advantage of.
So, okay, so, what is it, 10-Bit Studios that makes Frostpunk? Frostpunk is not a game that you can finish in 2 hours. You can play the first mission, it will probably take you an hour and a half, but then you've got all these missions after that. So that would not be what you're talking about. Is not like conducive to a game more like that. But this is a storyteller. This is, you are in a world. It is a story that you go through and you explore, and it doesn't take all that long. Yeah, for storytelling games, I can imagine a system like that working. On the other hand, I can also imagine developers abusing that as much as Steam abusing that, as much as customers abusing that. This seems like a scenario where everybody can figure out how to be a dick. I'm sure that Steam has their best people working on this, of course. Top men. But yeah, the official statement from I got into this Omega Games. I read their name and immediately forgot it. That's terrible. The official statement from Omega Games says, "Friends, thank you for support. I'm leaving game development for an indefinite time to collect my thoughts. Fact is, my game Server 58 does not reach 2 hours of playtime by Steam standards. In this regard, a huge number of returns on the game, even with positive reviews, and I do not earn anything. Don't earn anything to create a new game." So that's also something worth pointing out in this article. It's perfectly valid to refund a game that sucks, but we know that this game doesn't suck because it has very positive reviews on Steam. So everyone obviously appreciates it, everyone obviously likes it, and more than half the people who like it are refunding it.
Yeah, maybe Steam's just not the place to go if you're making like short kinetic novels.
Yeah.
That type of game. I mean, I'm definitely siding with the developer on this. It's shitty, and I think it's a potential entire category of games that could use a different set of policies. And that's why sometimes blanket policies, as well intended as they may be, aren't always the best.
Yeah. And then let's see. So we were talking about we were also talking about Diablo. There were a couple segues that I could have made. I chose to go into this one, but the other segue would be the making of Diablo 2 was pure hell. And this was a neat little article. It centers, just briefly, it centers around David L. Craddock. He authored. Well, actually, in this article, he is the author of more than a dozen books about video games, including Breakout, about the history of Apple II games, Rocket Jump, about the history of first-person shooters. But the two that I am familiar with are Stay a While and Listen, which is something that Deckard Cain says. It's one of his most notorious lines from Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. And David wrote 2 of these books, Stay a While and Listen, Book 1 and Book 2. And they were about, Book 1 was obviously about the original Diablo, Book 2 is about Diablo 2, and they detail the development process, the undertaking, and the burnout of Diablo 2 specifically. So I'm not sure who posted this article. You posted this article.
It's from me. Yep. Yeah, I just found it really interesting because, Diablo 2 Resurrected's coming out, and, Blizzard is in the news. And, burnout and crunch developing has been a big topic of conversation lately. But it's just interesting to see that, game development has been like that for a while, apparently. And it hasn't really gotten better.
So this must have been back in, 1998? There was an 18-month crunch period before the release of Diablo 2. And Diablo 2 launched June 29th, 2000. So, yeah, 1998, the 18-month crunch may have started, or in 1999. And it was so insane that people were given sleeping bags. They were provided in-house meals so that they never had to leave, which is just nuts. Imagine sleeping in a sleeping bag in your office for 18 months. Or even 2 months. That's uncomfortable.
Actually, one of my favorite quotes ever is in this article where he was talking about David Brevik, who was one of the developers. And it says that he got burned out and ended up just kind of not doing much and was like playing EverQuest in his office. He was one of the managers.
Yep.
And the guy who gave the interview, Craddock, said that he said, I was a Seagull manager. I would stay home most of the time, and when I'd come in, I'd crap all over everything, squawk a lot, and leave. And That's a pretty amazing quote right there.
Yeah, and Craddock admired him for saying that of his own admission. Craddock, quote, I have a lot of respect for people who put the creative truth, ahead of their own ego. Yeah, I read that too. I am not familiar with the Seagull manager, or I wasn't until I read this.
Yeah, no, I've never heard it before either, but that's a great phrase.
So
the totally be willing to use that in other at work. If you ever got a boss that just shows up, makes a lot of noise, makes a big ass fucking mess, there you go.
It's Gordon Ramsay.
Seagull managers.
Gordon Ramsay on every single TV show he does. So the devs were getting burned out, the employees were getting burned out, and everybody was miserable at launch of Diablo 2. And then an odd thing happens that David Craddock also goes into, is development for Lord of Destruction, which was the expansion for D2, started immediately after launch of Diablo 2. And it was taken over by a different team of people who were not burned out. And that team had the dream job, because the infrastructure for Diablo 2 already existed. All of the mechanics in the game had been set. Everything was just laid out beautifully in this framework. They had this canvas to work with, and all they were doing was creating new things. So the Lord of Destruction team had a blast because the Diablo 2 team suffered so long and horribly. And the other fun thing that I've never talked about before, I've never even mentioned this. I don't think I've ever talked about Chris Metzen. You certainly have never heard me speaking about this, but on storytelling in particular, Craddock went into the detail. Diablo 2 is not. You can play, quote, you can play Diablo 2 without watching any of the cinematics and not miss a beat, because the beauty of Diablo 2 is that you don't have to pay attention to the story. You can just kind of click through it and pay attention to the loot. That's very true. I really enjoyed the story of Diablo 2, and I paid attention to it and read all of it, but when I went back and I played through the campaign over and over and over and over and over again, I didn't read through everything every single time. I was like, I got it. I understood it. This is contrary to Diablo 3. And Dave Craddock mentions Chris Metzen by name. He says, that was actually one of the problems with Chris Metzen taking such a prominent role in Blizzard Entertainment's Diablo 3, the version that eventually came out in 2012. The story really got in the way, and that's a mistake Blizzard North never would have made. I completely agree.
You know what I find doubly funny about that, though, is that I couldn't tell you what happens in the D3 story. I know that in Act 1, you save Deckard Cain, and then he dies.
Yes.
And then after that, you just give a bunch of blood shards to Kadala. That's the whole game.
And if you're playing the story mode, Kadala doesn't even exist. She's not there. That's the whole thing about Diablo 3. This is why we have adventure mode. Adventure mode makes it so that we don't have to pay attention to the story. But if you're playing the story mode, you are severely hindered in terms of travel, in terms of where you can go, in terms of what you have access to. It's a whole thing. So that was the solution eventually when they passed it off to who's in charge right now? David Wang? John Wang? Someone.
Not Jesse McCree.
Not Jesse McCree. They created adventure mode. And now we have Kadala, and we have rifts, and we have grifts, and we can travel anywhere on the map, and we don't have to worry about anything. Not so in Diablo, in the story mode of Diablo 3. At least not until you were at the very, 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 very end of the game. God damn. So let's hope that Diablo 4 learns from Diablo 3's mistakes. Starting off with not having a real money auction house.
We can hope.
Yeah, how many of the same mistakes are they going to make again? God, if they try and introduce any sort of real money stuff and haven't learned, that would be ridiculous.
I've already speculated on this, that they will have microtransactions. There will be cosmetics.
Absolutely.
I am almost certain of that.
Abso-freaking-lutely. They've seen what kind of money they can make in WoW doing that.
So I was actually surprised that, looking back at it now in 2013, 2014, I'm surprised that they didn't implement a microtransaction system. But, excuse me, they probably couldn't at the time because Diablo 3 had no transmog system until after Rise of the Necromancer.
Were they owned by Activision at that point in time?
I believe so. Yes. I'll double check that though. Yes, they absolutely were.
Okay. I was gonna say because I can see Blizzard themselves saying, okay, hey, we're not gonna do paid transmog just because they don't want to do paid transmog, but Activision is very much, hey, let's charge for everything. So you want to be able to see your character breathe in the game? Here, pay us. Give us money. Is everybody there? It just got deathly quiet.
I know. I'm sorry.
I was like, oh god.
I was trying to figure out if Real Money Auction House was an Activision idea, and it seems, or from what I can find, what's readily available, it seems like the two companies were integrated together so well that nobody wants to point the finger at one or the other. But that would explain, to me, the reason I had that thought was that would explain why they didn't do paid transmogs, is because Blizzard did get a cut of all transactions on the auction house. So they might have thought that, they might have been experimenting. Like, maybe that's a better way to make money than paid transmogs. Maybe a real money auction house will provide a more consistent income. Or better income. But just a thought.
They're going to introduce something because just the nature of video games has changed. It's no longer buy a product, play a game. It's now, how do we create a continuous income source? So there's going to be something. I mean, when's the last time they made money on Diablo 3? Other than people, straggling along buying a copy this late. Like, there is no other income stream there.
I honestly don't know. I do know that you can link other Blizzard games for cosmetics in Diablo 3, so they might have cross-platform income or cross-service income. But, I mean, as for the game itself, yeah, I bought it, and I own it, and I can play it as long as the servers are up. So yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm still worried. I hesitate to actually make the prediction, but I am worried that the Diablo 4 might have a subscription or something like that attached to it.
I doubt they'd do a subscription because the Diablo community would fucking have a revolt. But
I hope so.
I think far more likely would be glitter. And also skip the grind mechanics.
Yeah, because they also have those in
5,000 veiled crystals for $4.99.
Yep. Veiled crystals? God damn, I can only imagine paying for crafting materials because that was totally doable on Real Money Auction House. Like, yeah, you're out of yellows. You can go pay $5 to get, a couple thousand of them.
Yeah.
Oh, crying out loud. Of all the terrible ideas that they could have.
Yeah, why would Blizzard make a Real Money Auction House and let players make money when they could just make all the money themselves?
That turned out being the problem, though. Is that, of course, yeah, no, we talked about this. The Chinese goal, if you make a system in game where you can make real money, the Chinese are going to dominate it, and that's exactly what they did with the gold industry in Diablo 3 Real Money Auction House. And the official reason that Blizzard gave, I believe, was that being able to buy items undercuts the game playing experience. But let's be honest here, they were doing it because there were people hoarding tons and tons and tons of gold, and they were selling it off-site, off the market, to avoid or circumvent the fee that Blizzard was getting for gold purchases. So
you're gonna have a hard time farming gold anymore with all the kids under 3-hour restrictions per day.
Oh,
look at that transition. Segway.
China cuts video game time for kids to 3 hours each week. This came out today.
It's fresh, hot off the presses.
Yeah, I actually, I was looking into it when I saw it. Apparently, they were saying some things recently that led up to this.
Yes.
I posted another article talking about Tencent's shares and other gaming companies in China, their shares plunging. And it was actually at the beginning of August that a state-owned Chinese newspaper criticized online gaming as, quote, opium for the mind. And now, at the end of the month, we see them actually regulating how much time kids can spend.
So yeah, on August 3rd, spiritual opium accusations from a state-run newspaper sent Tencent stocks plummeting just a touch, just a little. And yeah, it's worth pointing out that the state-run media withdrew that article and then published it again later on with the language sort of toned down. But this was more than enough. There are a couple of us here I suspect pay attention to Tencent just because it owns our heroin
Frame.
supply, and they're stock to take a little bit of a tumble. I guess this was something in a line of conversation that maybe broke the camel's back, and as Omega posted, the Chinese government has officially made it so that people under 18 are having their gaming time cut to 3 hours each week. 1 hour on Friday, 1 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. And it's even specifically regulated to between 8 and 9 p.m.
Jesus.
The holidays count as a weekend day, so they get an extra hour on holidays.
Extra hour on holidays.
Yeah, my sister and I debated this for about 5 minutes before I finally just went, okay, I'm not going to debate this with you because you and I do not agree with this. Do not agree on this at all. I believe that it is the parents' responsibility to limit screen time. I fully and 100% am behind the parents having that responsibility. However, I do not agree with the government stepping in and saying, "Hey, this is what you have to do. We're parenting your children now." And my sister was like, "No, I wish they would implement that in the United States. I think kids would be a lot better." I was like, "What? Nah."
See, in two completely different governments. I'm not going to compare one to the other because that's a whole undertaking. But in this country, at least, it's the government's responsibility to step in and say something like this when there are so many fucking retarded people that are just making the situation worse that it's your only alternative. Like, it's just nothing good will ever come of this if someone with some authority doesn't step in and play parent. So yeah, in this country, I would expect us to go through everything in the book before we got to federal regulation. But in China, federal regulation is first. The people serve the government. The government is of the people. At least that's what they'd like us to think. Hi, Winnie the Pooh!
You said the thing.
Yep. Thank God I don't live in that country. So, okay. My many questions that come up to this because we're assholes and we like technicality. I assume that children are still going to be allowed to learn on computers at school, and the computers are just going to be totally restricted to educational content. So, you know, your screen time isn't actually going down all that much. I assume that what the Chinese government is trying to do here is prevent kids from staying indoors all day and playing video games.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I could see that as being a thing. You know, my parents, even though I had a Nintendo and I had a Game Boy, my parents took that shit away and said, "You're going outside. When you come in later, yes, you can play." But yeah, no, it I don't know how well they're going to be able to regulate this unless they've got nanny cam on every individual. Well, this is China. Never mind.
Yeah,
Well,
Forget I even started to say anything.
yeah, couple of things here. So it is the Chinese market. The Chinese market has a lot more mobile gaming. Mobile gaming is much more popular in China than it is over in the States, not just because of population differences. So in this article, it does detail, in July, Tencent implemented a facial scan feature into its smartphone games as part of the Chinese government's monitoring of children playing video games. So yes, the government is taking pictures of you while you play video games. And facial scanning is part of at least phones. So obviously on a PC there are ways to circumvent that, at least there are that I know of. For example, don't own a webcam, which I don't. So yeah, I'm also not clear on the regulation, but I assume it's going to come down to the parents, and most of the adult Chinese people that I know have a respect for authority and I should say the Chinese people that I know who were born in China but now live here. And this goes on with some of the stories that they told me about scam phone calls. There is actually a set of scam phone calls in the United States that is specifically directed at the Chinese immigrant population, where the phone call is in Chinese and they tell the victim that they owe money to the American IRS and that they have to pay in a certain amount of time and that they need to do it at such and such an address. And this works something staggeringly, like 90% of the time, because first of all, this is according to my Chinese friends, first of all, respect for the government, respect for the authority that you're living under, and second, what if something goes wrong and they get kicked out of the country? So that is two-factor, but the respect for authority is always something that comes up in a subject like that. So I assume that parents in China will be diligent about limiting their children's screen time. Maybe not all of them, but I would guess the majority. Because I'm racist!
All right, next topic.
Thank you for joining us. That's it, we're done.
Nah. Yeah, that's a thing.
Good note to end on.
Oh no, I just think it's funny. I think most racism is funny. Because I can't really do much about it.
Yeah.
Laugh and
Funny
develop a
and
sense of
sad.
humor. Oh well. Yeah, that was a real upbeat note to end on. Anybody seen any I already asked if anybody's seen any good porn recently. About movies. Oh shit! Masami! We don't have to end this on a sour note. Masami, you owe us a panalysis.
I was even gonna write something up, and my brain just went and put on me. Yes, Jungle Cruise was definitely a rock solid experience.
Is that the thing?
I know.
I mean, I'll just be blunt about it, but
Oh!
She did it again.
Because Emily Blunt was in it. Honestly, all I wanted to know was, how were Dwayne's puns on target? Did he deliver acceptably?
you definitely couldn't take them for granted.
Oh, it's a rock.
I like that he made puns about himself, like, and they were the first puns right out the door. So I mean, whatever writers that they had were on par.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that they were solid. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out.
It's like a 4 out of 10.
You know
Yeah, that
what?
was
You know
pretty
what? Fuck it. I'll take it.
I mean, they definitely held some water.
Oh, now we're not referencing material that's related to the pun. I don't know. How many levels can this be taken to?
Well, I think we can just cruise right along, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is.
It's easy for me to sit here and criticize. I'm contributing nothing. Oh, so yeah, I am glad that you saw Jungle Cruise. I thought... I keep on thinking of the, I dated a girl, but she was cross-eyed. we broke up because we could never see eye to eye. Also, I think she was seeing someone on the side.
Oh my god.
It's pretty epic.
I don't know.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah,
I mean, all puns aside, that movie was actually pretty good. I will give it that.
There's something to be said for Disney schlock that where they get the right cast and Dwayne is the right. I've said it before. He's the Arnold Schwarzenegger of our generation. He's in movies that are not necessarily good at all. In fact, he's done some pretty fucking terrible movies, but everybody likes him. It's hard. It's difficult to come up with a reason not to like him or enjoy his performance. Oh man. All right, so the next one is Cosmo Ball.
Oh God.
We all got to watch Cosmo Ball, the Russian Disney mimic. That's gonna be a good time. Okay, thank you for playing Destiny 2 for us, Zero.
Yeah, not a problem.
While we talk about nonsense.
Oh God, don't tell me you were just watching that abysmal performance in PvP.
Oh
God.
Yeah. Where you kept
Now
on,
I feel. Oh God, I got my ass kicked.
That's fine. There are lots of pretty lights. That's the most important part, right?
Isn't that what happens in PvP?
Oh no. I have a resounding 0.35 KD. I am awful, just awful at PvP.
Didn't that
I
just
just
reinforce my point?
I only play PvP three matches a week so that I can get my weekly power increase or power armor increase. So
So you're saying it's your weak point?
yes, very much so. Like to the point where when I was on Xbox, I would literally have other people carry me through PvP so that I can make rank by the end of the season.
By the way, I'm a cockwit here. I didn't notice in chat that Spirit was talking to us.
Oh, hi Spirit.
Spirit popped up in the stream while we were talking about Diablo.
Oh.
So yeah, I missed that. I gotta be better at watching the chat. Oh well. What's the okay, Zero, what's the fucking incentive to play PvP at all in this game?
I mean,
is it just fun? You just have fun doing it, or is there
hang
actually
on,
a reward?
I mean, it is fun, but like if you go to the tower, there's this dude Shax. You get what they call ritual weapons for leveling up your renown with that particular PvP character. And yeah, you get like special weapons that I don't give a shit about, honestly. I'm more into the PvE side of Destiny. I like the raiding, I like the strikes and the lore. I love the lore. So some would say I'm a lore whore.
How about that Nathan Fillion voice acting?
Well, considering they killed his character off
Aww.
2 years ago.
Why does Nathan Fillion consistently die in every video game he's in?
That's a very valid question.
Also,
every role's a runoff, and he doesn't have, and you just get paid for all of them. Doesn't have to ever go back for a sequel.
I mean,
which is okay. So Nathan Fillion stays alive in all the movies and TV shows that he does, but he dies. Oh, except for Buffy, but he dies in all the video games that he's in. Whereas Sean Bean dies in all of the movies that he's in, except for all the movies and TV shows that he's in, except for one of them where he played a FBI double agent or some shit, and he stays alive in all the video games that he's in. So Sean Bean, just keeps on coming back for those fat, juicy voiceover checks? Actually, I imagine it's a lot easier than showing up on set and having to be presentable and learn lines and... Yeah, I'd much rather be voice actor, actually. But yeah, every single Civilization 6 update that comes out where they add content, Sean Bean is back doing voiceover. Spirit. Okay, Spirit says the PvP side of Destiny can be very difficult to deal with when you have people fishing for meta weapons with ridiculous mods. They take those into matches and wreck people, and it makes the casual scene for PvP undesirable.
Very true. And the weapon that is currently like A1 fucking king right now is an exotic that was released at the beginning of this weapon. That was introduced into the game at the beginning of this season. The Lawrence driver. It is the love child of. It's essentially a void railgun, and it is awful powerful. Like across the map, single charge, chest shot will take out an enemy. It is stupid powerful. And Bungie literally came out and said, "You know what? Every time we've done this, every time we've introduced a new weapon, we've fucked it up, and we end up fixing it too quickly. You know what? Have fun with this one." They did the same thing with the Prometheus lens back a few years ago, which is one of this weapon here. It's a trace rifle. It is literally just a laser, and it is just stupid. It was literally they essentially created a PvP mode where it was laser tag. Whoever could hit you first, or whoever you hit first, if you did not get hit first, you were killing them with this weapon every time.
Laser.
So, yeah, laser.
I gotta work on that fucking. I gotta see if there's a Giphy or a whatever the other one is, whatever the other one is, an API for Twitch, so that Fluffy can start posting gifs in these streams. Because I would love for a Dr. Evil gift that's just laser. So what? It's power creep then.
Oh, essentially, yes.
But it's inadvertent fucked up power creep.
Yep, pretty much. And glitter, it's like I said previously. If you ever got into this game and like started playing it, you would sink like years of your life into getting all of the glitter.
Zero, you might remember this one. Spirit says, I remember a specific pulse rifle primary weapon that came from a certain boss that people would farm constantly and was a menace to deal with in PvP and eventually got nerfed.
Yes, it was. Pulse. It was. Oh shoot, which one was it? No, I know exactly which one he's talking about, and it was stupid powerful. The blast furnace was one that was really powerful. But that was built in the forges. That one was wicked powerful, but I forget which one it was. It may have been in D1, but yeah, no, there were quite a few of them that just were stupid powerful. To the point where Bungie had to go, okay, we're gonna take your toy away now because you're having too much fun.
There's one weapon right now, off the top of my head in Warframe, that is in a similar state, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get nerfed, because even though it is the alternate fire on it is enormous. It deals enormous amounts of damage, and it does it in an AoE spread. And I'm hoping that it doesn't get nerfed, because even though that alternate fire is insane, you have to charge it, and there's only one instance with one Warframe power where that charge is for naught. You charge it once, and then you just have alternate attack everything, and it auto recharges every single time. So that kind of broken mechanic is in Warframe right now, but I don't want to say the weapon. I don't want to say... It doesn't matter. DE does not listen to the stream. Using the Truma with Zephyr, Yeah, I hope that doesn't get nerfed, because that is insane. On Steel Path, you're talking about one-shotting groups of enemies in your tornado.
Nice.
And you don't... Even the one-shot, the amount of damage that the one-shot does is 3-4 times the amount of damage that you need to deal to kill an enemy. So it is nuts. But let's see, Spirit says, DE has issues with balancing in general. Yes, they do. Their most recent Warframe Ureli is the worst I've ever seen them scramble to fix a frame and launch and still fail. I don't know does anyone here know anything about Ureli? I haven't played her. I don't know if she's powerful or stupid.
She's pretty much regarded as being underpowered and weak and not really good at any one thing.
But she's so kawaii.
Dace.
Kawaii desu ne. So yeah. She also has a wonky hitbox because she has to stay on her K drive to not die. Yeah, that was an interesting mechanic. You know what? Making us play more Tony Hawk Pro Skater in Warframe is not desirable, from my perspective at least. And Omega
So speaking of Doc, once we're done here, are we gonna go get our daily K drive standing again?
No.
I heard a little bit of yes in that statement.
No, we don't need it anymore.
No, we bought... I bumped in completely accidentally the other day. I noticed that Ureli's secondary weapon is sold through Vent Kids, and Omega and I did Vent Kids standing for 2 days to get enough to buy it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Look, there's nothing inherently wrong with the Vent Kids, except for the fact that DE actually expects us to gain standing or pay currency to children for things that children have, when we are basically infested and steal metal frames who commit war crimes, and we could easily just shake them down.
I've never heard such a better summary of everything.
The kid's like, you don't have enough standing to buy this mod. You pick up the kid, you turn them upside down, and you shake them until the mod falls out of their pockets, and then you throw them across the room, pick up the mod, and leave. And then the next time, what? They lock the door? You're a walking war crime. Figure out how to take the door down.
That is a fairly awesome way of putting that.
Fucking freeloading assholes.
Walking war crime.
Oh these little kids in the vents, they're just like, oh, we're orphans. Bullshit, you're orphans. I know Rocky's got a mom. She was screaming my name last night.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Because I left my keys on the tabletop at the barista, and she was trying to get my attention as I walked to my car.
Oh.
What were you guys thinking of?
Well, now I feel bad.
I don't.
Oh, well. Okay, yeah, it's about time to wrap this up and go not do K-Drive shit in Warframe. Or play literally any other game. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Church of Chonkwij podcast. It's been a blast. We'll be here same time next week. Next channel, we're working on an outro. I still don't have an outro. Penis. Masami? Penis. Oh, wait. One more thing.
Don't try to fucking tell me I'm wrong when I'm fucking right.
Thank you!